Welcome everybody to another episode of Power Word Crit. My name is Ander and I will be your keeper today. With me are some wonderful players that you know and love.
I'm Kayla and I am playing Avery O'Grady today.
I'm Corin and I'm playing Hannah Mae Sullivan.
I'm Ashlyn and I'm playing Val, the science gal.
And I'm David and I'm playing Martin Gross.
We are here with the PARCs agents because we are playing Monster of the Week, investigating the Lurker of Lake Luskogee. Where we left off last time.
Oh, snap.
I believe you mean oh schlorp.
What?
Or what noise do tentacle fish make?
No, the blah is the back of the van.
There
Wait,
is no van. The van is broken.
Yeah.
The van has no tires.
The van still exists.
Yeah.
And Corin's just referring
The
to
portal in the back of the van is the blah.
Oh.
the strange
Okay.
dimensional weirdness.
Gotcha.
But you're near some other dimensional weirdness, apparently.
Apparently.
But the dimensional weirdness is what Martin has felt in the depths of a cave beneath Goose Egg Island. You entered the cave, Martin, Hannah, and Avery. There is a sliver of light that is coming down through the ceiling. This is where you perhaps looked from earlier, shining down into a cavern. As you step into it, you are stepping onto black, sludgy sand. Very similar to that bucket of goop that Hannah and Val found earlier. And before you stretches a pool that extends into the darkness.
Is it like a pool or like we only can see so far?
You can see 50 yards out a rock wall. But again, your trip down here felt longer and deeper than it should have. And Martin confirmed that there were certainly ties to somewhere else. This doesn't feel entirely like home. Extending out from the beach, there is a stony rise. The rise is up out of the water, but the water itself seems fairly dark.
Do we do the ritual on here? Do we do it in the sandbar thingy? What are we... Ow, my head. What do you need, Martin, to get this going?
I don't know yet. I'll have to work on it.
Well, what do you need help with to work on it?
Nothing.
Okay, then I'm just gonna go sit over here and lie down. Ow.
Sorry about that again, Hannah.
It wasn't your fault. I got hit by one of those things and fell into the water.
I may have accidentally hit you in the head with an oar.
Oh, okay. I'm sure you were justified. I'm just gonna go lay down.
Yeah, sorry about
Just
that.
gonna sit down and kind of curl up, facing away from everybody.
Are you in the middle of the beach, or are you close to a wall, or...
Is the sand sticking to our feet as we're walking?
Yes.
So I'm not gonna do that. That would be weird. I'm gonna go kind of back to where we came from, I guess. Is that opening still there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you could conceivably walk back up the tunnel. It hasn't disappeared. You haven't vanished into some strange other dimension necessarily.
Well, that's very good to know. Yeah, she's just gonna go into like the mouth of the cave and just curl up in a ball and just cry a little bit in tears and pain and migraines.
Have we already given you painkillers?
Yeah, it's only been like 20 minutes.
Avery's going to take a look around with her handy dandy flashlight that she has and see what we've got.
You shining up on the wall. Where are you looking?
We're gonna go for the wall first and then extend out and see what we can see over the pool.
Looking along the walls, there are many symbols, and on the left side, there is a large circle. And to the left of the circle, there are several... It looks like the phases of the moon. It decreases to the left, decreasing down to a crescent,
Mm-hmm.
and then to the right side of the circle, it increases or decreases that way.
What moon are we having tonight?
It's full.
Interesting. I'll keep on looking around.
You've got oops, is that right?
Yes, I do.
We'll give you an oops here.
Yes.
Your foot clinks against something that clatters away. It looked to be a bone or something that has been worked, as in carved, and it tumbles down the beach a little bit and into the water.
No!
And as you track it, as you run after it a little bit, you can see deeper in the water, it kind of drops off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There are more bones down there.
What? Like worked bones, or are we talking like human sacrifices and people were thrown in here?
Some look worked, many are broken, some appear to be animal, some are definitely human.
Interesting.
Some of them are mineral and vegetable.
I think any vegetable down there would be gone,
Uh-huh.
but there's certainly mineral about.
Is this water? Like, if there are any stones or something that I could poke the water with?
Absolutely.
Is it watery, or is it... Okay.
It seems very similar to the water up above.
Martin, there seems to be lots of bones in here.
Nice to know he has an appetite.
What does it smell like in here? Does it smell like the sea or does it smell like pine?
It's very salty and very strongly of that fishy, earthy muck. It's nasty in here. And everywhere that you have stepped, your shoes are picking up this inky mud off of the sand.
My shoes will never be the same again.
Burn it.
Yeah, probably. Well, I keep exploring the area, seeing if there's anything I can find that will help Martin in his research, but I'm afraid to touch the water because I don't know what it's going to do. Martin, is the water sanitary?
It looks questionable to me.
Martin, by the way, has sat down on a random rock over on the edge and is reworking because everything that he was doing was all about preventing it from escaping, and so is therefore useless since it's already out. And so, he's starting over from scratch here.
Oh no.
Can't you reuse some of your...
Probably not, but I guess the keeper might offer that.
I would allow it. You've been thinking about things.
I mean, it's been, 2-3 hours now that you've been researching this in your mind?
Yeah, but it was a different subject.
It can be related.
It's adjacent.
I mean, it could be related. That doesn't mean it is related.
You just really want to fail this, don't you?
And so he looks over at the lake. I would like to use my powers as a medium to look at the lake.
As you open up your spiritual sight, you instantly see an orb down inside of it.
How down?
We'll call it 20 feet down. This seems to be about basketball sized. The orb is leaking energy, leaking power that is foreign to this world. And you can see essentially trails of what you would normally see with people or beings that leave strong presences as they move from a place.
So Martin will say to Avery, the water looks spiritually toxic.
So I will not touch the water. Got it.
I wouldn't.
That answered that question then, thank you.
These paths that you see lead from the orb down and away from the beach. There don't seem to be many near the actual beach itself.
I would like to roll weird to make an educated guess at what I'm looking at. Actually, should I roll weird, or would you prefer me to roll dark past?
Go ahead and do dark past.
That's nice and low. What's my weird? Is it like plus
+3
3 still? Okay.
Yes, it's still a +3. It would not go down.
Yeah, I think that's the highest that you can usually get it.
Uh-huh.
Man, I have to roll really low to miss.
You have to stop rolling on your high stat.
So I got a 7.
Okay, that's a mixed success.
Start trying to make friends with people. You'll get a bunch of failures on that.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not sure Martin's going to do that. Not because he doesn't want to, because the idea is alien to him. On a 7 through 9, ask 1. When I last dealt with one of these rocks, or whatever it is, what did I learn?
You suspect it's a gateway to the Lurker's home. And those paths that you see are likely the paths of the Lurker and the weird fish that are out there.
So Martin says that it's spiritually unsanitary. And then in addition, he says, I think the entrance to the Lurker's domain is down in there.
Ooh, where? And I look down. Do I see a cave entrance?
So the water out there is very dark.
Mm-hmm.
You see what looks like
If it's 20 feet down, I may not even be able to see with the light.
it feels condensed, like darker than it should, in a specific area.
Okay.
Martin points in the direction.
Yeah, that lines up.
How would he fit in there?
I don't know how big it is.
Flashback of giant fish maw coming at Avery. Big. Very big.
No. I don't know how big the hole is.
Oh, okay.
It's at least 20 feet down, and I'm only seeing the spiritual residue around it and things that it's accumulated and poisoning into the area.
Is the Lurker like an octopus where it could really tiny spaces, like 1 inch of space and just itself out?
That could be.
Just because he's big doesn't mean he can't flat.
It's true.
And it does have tentacles.
Oh, yeah.
That
I
is a
forgot about that.
prerequisite to doing octopus-like things.
And teeth,
And teeth, yeah.
which is not a prerequisite, but is still relevant.
We start getting into Kraken territory. No, wait. Was Kraken ever on my list? Did it make it? I'm going to have to look at my notes again.
I don't remember Kraken. I figure this was something of a lake monster as opposed to a ocean
I still
monster.
keep thinking this is Cthulhu, so like this is way above my pay grade. Just leave and let it take over.
That's always a good plan.
Martin thinks for a moment. No, dread Cthulhu lies slumbering. The Lurker lurks.
In fiction.
That is fair, Martin. You are correct. Sorry. Brain's still a little foggy.
Martin is going to start researching.
Do you research by, like, meditating?
I mean, that's what it looks like, except that he's just sitting there.
Cool.
Let's cut to Val.
The science gal. Val, 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 Val.
Cue the theme music now.
Can't use copyrighted music though.
Yep. So we have a reasonable facsimile. So where we left you, Val, you had dashed off to the sheriff's office to hack into the emergency siren signal, and were able to do so with your science skills.
Thank you, Erie.
Helps to have an AI friend. You were able to put in your custom message that was a warning lake evacuation to be able to try and get everyone off the lake because there were scary anglerfish, deep sea fish.
Things that looked dang scary.
Ruth was able to take you out there. You got in, you took care of that, but felt like you needed to meet back up with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave them hanging. They might need me. They might need my science.
Exactly. Fortunately, Ruth knew someone with a boat. She went to her neighbor, Tony.
Tony the Tiger.
He's kind of tigerish.
That's just how I'm remembering his name.
Tony the LARPer.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's more.
He wants to LARP.
I'm
He
pretty
thinks
sure
we're
he's
LARPing.
Tony the Lover.
Yes, that too.
If you guys have seen Eureka, Taggart is my plug for this guy.
Okay.
He is a guns enthusiast, Australian, skinny, bald dude. Kind of weird, but everyone's weird there.
So, yes, we're on Tony's very, very fast boat.
Where I left you was at his place. He had grabbed his guns. Ruth has her Cutco ceramic knives.
I
and
have a shovel and a hoe.
You have garden implements.
I do have gardening implements.
Which weapon do you have currently?
I have my goo gun because my electroblaster is currently in quarantine.
All right, Val, so what's your plan? What are you doing?
We are going on the lake. We're heading towards Goose Egg Island. And if I see any fish come at us, I'm going to shoot them with my goo gun and tell Ruth and Tony to be on the lookout for any fish and attack on sight.
All right.
And if not, just self-defense.
Sure. So you get out to Tony's dock and get into his fancy red speedboat and start pulling away. Val, can I get you to just do a straight 2d6 roll for how your trip out goes?
Is this going to be a luck roll?
I'm just going to do it just straight.
Okay, that's cool. That's the straight 8.
We've got some mixed things here. You make your way out into the lake. It's still misty, so it's hard to see. You can see the shadow of Goose Egg Island, and your alert seems to have worked pretty well. There do still seem to be a couple, and you see these lights from the fish. Some of them are trying to jump up a little bit, but the boat's fast.
Good.
Val, you see one of the boats that's out there. There appears to be an adult and a child there. Seems to be working on an engine. Something seemed to be stuck, and they are in distress because things are jumping up onto the boat.
Oh no,
Moral dilemma.
I know. I am... Oh, geez.
There's more than one way to scale a fish, Val.
There are perhaps 4 other boats in similar straits. People who are doing their best to fend off attacks.
Kill them all. They've seen too much.
They know too much.
I mean, I thought my alert message thing was going to save a bunch of people, but that's cool.
There were lots of people out on the lake. There are now less people on the lake.
This is true. Okay, so...
And it seems like these people want to leave the lake.
Right, they're just...
Having trouble.
Remember, Val, there's more than one way to scale a fish. If all the fish are dead, then there can't be a ritual.
So what I'm going to attempt to do is try and use my goo gun to shoot in the lake to trap any of the fish that are trying to jump out. And that will give the people on the boats enough leeway to escape without having to fend off the fighting fish.
Okay. The boat that's closest seems to be about 100 yards out at the moment.
Okay. I'm going to tell them, I'm going to see what I can do to help these innocent people home who weren't able to leave the lake.
Oh, we're gonna go kill some fish, eh?
Yeah, we're going to at least try and halt them.
All right, I guess that works.
I mean, you can try and shoot a fish. I don't care.
Oh,
but
it's good fun, it is.
Did we bring the dynamite?
I didn't have any dynamite.
I don't know if
sorry.
that's going to work in the water.
Dynamite works wonders in the water if
Really?
you do it right. It's hilarious and probably a hazard, but still.
Just,
Oh,
just
geez.
watch Crocodile Dundee 2.
Essentially,
Yeah,
the
that's
concussive shock waves will knock out and kill fish in a big radius. It makes fishing really easy because they just float to the surface.
Ooh,
Yeah,
boy.
that makes sense. I mean, I do it all the time in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So I let Ruth and Tony know that I'm going to be trying to do this. I know Ruth doesn't have any long range stuff, so I tell Tony if he wants to try shooting at these fish, as long as you're a good shot, you're not going to accidentally shoot these innocent people, are you?
He pulls up his big rifle and cocks it. You're talking to the regional marksman champion 4 years running.
I turn to Ruth. Is that true?
She nods, yeah.
Okay.
I will die for Tony. Absolutely die for Tony.
Did you know I've already thought of their ship name?
Oh my gosh.
Ruth and Tony.
Ruth and Tony.
Guess that's not
We're going to say that Ruth is driving.
How about truth?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It may be Tony's boat, but Tony's going to be more value on the guns.
Yeah. So, going to attempt to help these people out.
Ruth brings the boat up close. You're coming in fast,
I guess this would be kick some butt, huh?
or protect someone.
Yep, protect someone. That's the one. Either way, it's still gonna be real tough.
You're tough, right?
+1.
Yeah, that's something.
Hey,
That's
Val,
something.
you should use a paddle.
I hear they work great.
They work wonders.
I'm gonna use my goo gun.
Sure.
And I'm going to try and aim it not at the boat.
So you're coming up on this boat. There's two people. It looks like to be a dad and his son. Son's maybe about like 14. He's got some bags that he's trying to slap some of these fish away and knock them as they're jumping out, stomping on things. The dad's trying to get the engine working. There's 3 fish that are leap up in the air at the same time. You have this split moment. What do you do?
I'm going to shoot my goo gun.
The goo gun is area effect, right?
Yes, it does have area. That's why I am not aiming it directly at the boat.
You're aiming it in the air, in the water.
It might be more effective if I do it in the air because then if any are jumping, then it would catch them on the way.
You have this split second. They are leaping. There's like a group of them that have gone in a triad together and are coming at the back of this kid.
I'm gonna fire up in the air and do whatever mental calculations that it would have the projectile motion of falling where I'm trying to aim at the fish.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and roll plus tough.
Hey, that's actually pretty dang good. I rolled an 11.
Oh,
Woohoo!
very cool, very cool.
Huzzah!
Woo! Much better than my. What did I roll? I don't remember.
So protect someone when you prevent harm to another character. Roll plus tough. On a 7+, you protect them from harm, but you'll suffer some or all of the harm they're going to get. Doesn't quite work, but on a 10+, you get to choose 1 extra. You suffer little harm. All impending danger is now focused on you. You inflict harm on the enemy, or you hold the enemy back.
I'm holding the enemy back.
How do you think this works out?
As these fish are jumping into the air out of the water, I aim my glittery pink goo gun in the sky.
The sparkles catch. There's a brief glint of sunlight comes through the mist and catches on the sparkles.
Yes. And as she pulls the trigger, the ball of goo that erupts from the gun arcs in a perfect parabolic arch. As the wind resistance starts to take effect, it starts to spread and flatten, and it catches the fish as they are jumping and pulls them into the water, and they are stuck.
Absolutely. Tony takes the opportunity and goes bam, 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 and tags all 3 of those that you snagged. Good shooting, Les.
Yeah, you right back at you. You weren't choking. And then I'm going to yell at the father and son, forget the motor, just use something to row yourself.
Get out.
All right. Do you have any? Sorry, I'm getting getting the accent that's bleeding from Tony.
Everyone's Australian now.
Yeah, right. We've only got 1 paddle.
Tony, do you have extra paddles?
Oh, I think I might have something. Let me get around here. And he opens up this big lockbox on the side, and it's full of all kinds of things. It's like, yeah, I got a paddle here, and he pulls one out and tosses it over.
I hope they catch it.
Yeah, they grab the paddles and they start making their way back.
All right. Do any of the other boats that seem to be in a similar predicament, do they seem to also be having motor trouble? Or is it more they're fending off the fish that are trying to attack?
Seems a bit of both.
Okay.
You can hear a motor going for one that's far off to your right, but it's not going anywhere. And the other two seem to be just fending off the fish that are coming at them.
Okay.
The one that's you can hear the motor going, but it's not going anywhere, is between you and Goose Egg Island.
We're going to try and help that boat out because we got to keep going and we don't want to circumvent. So I'm going to try and shout out to the other boats, giving them the same kind of information. And if possible, try and repeat with the goo gun and have Tony with his sharpshooting skills take care of the fish so that they can make their way back to shore.
Sure. Go ahead and make another roll on that.
10.
Hey, cool. That's a full success. I'm going to flavor it out that you're able to repeat the same thing.
Sweet. Val says to herself, man, it's so good that I've been practicing my first-person shooter games. That hand-eye coordination.
And probably built the goo gun to work within those specifications.
Oh,
too.
yeah. I mean, she built this. She knows how it works.
Perfect. Between you and Tony, you're able to help those two other people that you can see. Maybe you're focusing on the one and then he's doing on the other side.
Okay, perfect.
Seem to have given them a reprieve enough to be able to get their bearings and start moving.
And I'm just going to say, whatever happens, just keep rowing.
Just keep rowing.
All right, so we still have the boat in front of us that seems to be having the motor working, but...
They're not going anywhere. There is water getting thrown up behind it and around it.
Can I see if there's any creature struggling with it or something? Can I see any fish?
Go ahead and read about the situation.
Okay.
Roll plus
all the
sharp
rolls.
if you would.
Man, I'm making all the rolls right now.
Yeah.
This is to make up for the fact that I barely rolled last.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right. With my new and improved sharp, 12. Man, I'm rolling rocks tonight.
So good. Too bad you guys don't have the advanced basic moves yet.
Yep, not yet.
So that's an option when you level up, is to advance one of the basic moves, is that you get the 12 plus things.
2 more improvements.
Yeah, on a 10 plus, you get hold 3, you get 3 questions you can ask that list, and I'm allowable on other things.
So what's the biggest threat? What's the best way to protect the victims? And are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Oh, the options.
I'm going to say that the danger you haven't noticed is that around that boat, there is a deep glow. They don't seem to be having any issues with small fish.
Would you perhaps say something is lurking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So we're going to roll that into what's the biggest threat you suspect. Ruth goes, that looks like exactly what happened last night and before. We need to help them.
Oh, right. So what's our best way to protect them?
Get them off that boat or get them away.
Okay.
Kill it, Val. All of our work can be in vain if you just murder it here.
I don't think I can kill the lurker.
I mean, I don't think you can kill the lurker.
I
But
think
that-
it's unkillable.
I will say that I will not give you guys unkillable monsters.
Okay.
It may be very difficult.
Yeah, I
But-
don't... Val doesn't trust herself on her own with 2 civilians to mono a fish.
You have an entire cutlery cabinet at your disposal.
It's true.
And
The
again-
Cutco knives are very sharp.
Yes, but they're also melee, and I feel like this thing has reach.
You know what?
Just get on top of it and stab, stab, stab.
Reach is all relative if it's a tentacle. You can melee those.
Yeah.
When it reaches you, you can reach back.
I sure hope that thing can cut through octopus. All right, Ruth is steering the boat still.
She is.
I'm going to tell Tony, be on the lookout. If you see anything, shoot it. And Ruth, see how close you can get us to that other boat, and we can see if we can transfer those civilians onto this boat.
I'm going to make a roll for Ruth.
Okay.
She's going to act under pressure.
Okay.
It seems fair.
Am I helping her, or is she helping me?
You can help her. We will give her a +1 help from you guys collectively. No, we'll do 2. 1 from you because she's got base stats. None of the bystanders are going to have stats,
Right.
so it's all flat. Okay, well, I have a 9, and then the +2 from you guys gets you up to a full success.
Yes.
So she throws the throttle. You guys zoom out there. The glow is
This
growing.
is everything I needed
you
in a
get
finale.
there close. You're calling out to the people, come. They've grabbed their things and are ready as you pull up alongside, and they leap across the boat. Ruth throws the accelerator again, and you speed away from there. Behind you, as you look back, crunch, and the boat is gone. This huge mouth. It is wide, extends far more than it should. Long needle teeth, longer than your arm, and too many eyes on top of this, and these glassy green eyes on top of a entirely alien face.
Yeah, this is going to haunt Val's nightmares for, at least a month.
As it should.
It's going to lurk her dreams.
And it disappears beneath the water.
Ah!
And so does the boat.
Oh,
gone.
noes. All right. Well, how many people did we bring onto our boat?
You have a group of 3.
Okay.
Oh.
But,
Oh, man. If you tell me that this is like Darby George
Oh my
just
gosh.
so conveniently, no.
and Sheriff, what's his face? I'm
Just
going to be
push
like,
him in.
be like, why'd I save you?
No.
You know what? It would be an excellent repentance moment for them, wouldn't it?
Only if they're actually repentant.
Mhm.
They're pretty hardened if nearly getting eaten by the thing that they summoned doesn't make them rethink it.
Right,
Hmm.
exactly.
Let's say one of them is Joe from Joe's Jerky Emporium.
Oh, hey!
Hey, Joe.
And I don't know of any other named NPCs that...
There's a lot
That
of
is
people
still
in
alive?
town.
Yeah.
The odds of any of them being named NPCs is unlikely.
But other people who you saw on the road there as you were going up there who happened to have been in the
Maybe
shop.
who were in, Ian's bait and switch, waiting for the tournament to start kind of thing.
Yeah, that one of them was. There's a woman there who seems to be, at least by how she and Joe are clutching each other, they seem to be at least a couple.
Okay.
I was like, oh, thank you. What was that?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just be grateful you're alive and hope nothing else comes for us. Or that thing doesn't come again for us. Okay, Ruth, let's book it.
So Ruth again, throws it.
We gotta get to Goose Egg Island.
Joe's there. He's like, there's aliens here, and you've got an alien with you. I saw him, and
Wait,
some
what?
weird stuff here, and I knew it. And
Oh,
it
yeah,
happened,
don't worry, Martin's on our side. He's fine.
I knew it.
Also,
no.
I'm sorry that he did that to your door, but hey, you could probably still get famous if you say lightning struck your door. Okay, but no, we have serious problems. And I'm going to give them a very brief, watered down version of what we're about to face and say, I'm sorry I can't take you to shore, but time is of the essence. If you have any concerns, please hide. My team and I are going to do everything we can to protect you and everyone else in this town, because if we don't, this town may disappear. There are dangerous fish. There's some sort of otherworldly monster. Avoid the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the alert said that too. We tried to go.
I am part of a highly specialized team that is trying to take care of this.
Oh, so, okay, that makes sense. Fight aliens with aliens, of course.
I mean, you're technically not wrong. Just the assumption that highly
know.
specialized team is good at this job.
I mean,
We're doing great.
Yep. We need our portal expert.
she's coming.
All right, and you make it, and you see Mark's boat pulled up. There's nobody in it.
All right.
There's a bit of an old wooden dock there that
Okay.
Mark had pulled up to.
I'm going to direct Ruth to pull up on the other side of the dock if there's space to do that.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm going to give one last warning. I don't recommend staying in the boat just in case something from the water tries to attack, but I don't know how dangerous the island is going to be either. If you see someone who seems to not be scared, then don't trust them.
Okay.
Or
Unless it's Martin the alien.
Okay. Sure.
Just-
But so I can trust you guys and that scary alien guy who blew up my door?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you can trust Avery and Hannah,
Okay,
I think.
I don't know who those are.
I know.
But
They're part of my team.
out-of-towners, sure.
I will let you know if we come across them.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm going to find a good hiding spot for you, and hopefully you can stay there and nothing will happen. I'm not going to try and bring them straight into danger if I can help it.
Nope, this is a good plan.
Why are you looking at me like that, David?
I'm not going to bring them straight into danger. leads them onto the lake, takes them to Goose Egg Island.
They were already on the lake.
To be fair, they were on the lake.
No.
Oh, you're talking about...
She led this
Tony
whole group of people.
I know.
Honestly,
but
Goose Egg Island might be the most, safe at this point.
at this point, yeah. But
I
also,
wouldn't bet on that.
there wasn't time, or it didn't make sense to go back and drop them off, because otherwise she would just be doing that constantly.
Let's go ahead and move out to our cave crew. So, Martin, you've been deep in thought, deep down, deeper than the water. Let's go ahead and make a research move here. You can make another weird attempt or make a sharp attempt.
Well, we'll continue with weird. Might as
Okay.
well get the good stuff out. Aw. I don't know why I'm surprised. 10.
So you get another further 3 research. You have a total of 6 so far in your overall research hold.
And I need how many?
Basically, how the hold ends up working out is to whether you get to choose or I get to choose the requirements for your big magic. And it works on the same kind of scale as any of the normal tests.
Is it too early to declare a prognosis? Do I have to finish the research before I can choose something? Or is this one of those you keep building things?
How I'm going to go ahead and do it is that when you feel you're ready to decide this is what it is, this is the conclusion that I've made, or time pressure's coming on far enough that wherever you're at that point is how much hold you've got. So at this point, with a 6, the requirements are going to be very difficult or very troubling. The keeper then chooses how many, stuff. On a 7 to 9 is that you would get surprising but workable things.
So Martin is still sitting there, but now he has a frown on his face. He's figured out some things that could be done, but they're not things that his friends will like. So I'm looking for alternatives.
That's like good research in being able to decide this is not a good option, this is not a good option, this is not a good option.
So at this point, I think my headache is starting to subside. The meds are kicking in. I pull out my phone to see what time it is, realize it's waterlogged and probably never going to work again.
Not unless you get Val to look at it.
It's true. I should probably do that. And she's going to look at her watch. What time does my watch say?
We'll say it's about 4:30.
Does it feel like it's 4:30? Has there been any weird, timey-wimey stuff that we can figure out?
It feels right.
Okay. When her head's starting to feel better, she's going to sit up again and squint her eyes a little bit and say, "Did we leave a marker for Val?
Oops.
I'll go do that. Does anybody have a flashlight?"
Here, I walk over and hand it to you. I was going to toss it, but it's a very big, heavy flashlight.
Mark, can you come with me to make sure I don't keel over?
Yeah, that sounds like a real good idea.
Thanks. And we're going to go up and she's going to start looking around at the whole tunnel itself.
I'm going to say that Mark also has a flashlight.
Okay. So
And this is the incredibly long tunnel, the suspiciously long tunnel.
she's going to look around to see if the rocks maybe change, or does it change texture? Does it change, the smell change? Does just seeing what's going on and why it seems to be a little bit longer than normal. She hasn't quite figured out what to do in an emergency portal section in the handbook yet.
I am pretty sure there is a section there.
I'm sure there is. Val probably wrote it.
You have a lot of faith in Val's writing.
This looks like a 16-year-old high school student wrote it.
Let me rephrase that. Val jotted some notes down and someone else wrote it.
I mean, Val writes fan fiction, but
I'm going to go ahead and say that Val did not write policy for parks.
thank
Gotcha.
you.
Except in her specific field, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good with that.
You mean portals?
Yeah.
Science lab procedures.
There's a little section in the back that's Portal a fanfic, and it's just I don't understand what this is.
I was about to say, yes, she wrote everything except for the safety section in the lab. Someone else had to go in and be like, by the way,
This
is
is
not
all wrong.
previously stated, but for safety, please do these things.
Mhm.
So yeah, she hasn't really read Portal a fanfic yet, so I want to investigate a mystery or maybe read a bad situation.
I'm fine just giving it to you at this point. There's not a lot at stake for this thing, so it doesn't make a lot for failure. The change isn't stark, but there seems to be somewhat of a change. The stone that's down below is certainly darker, and it is a stark difference to what is natural and above and what the big boulders around Goose Egg Island were. But it seems to progress over time. There's a mix of it here and a mix of it there. Almost blurred, maybe?
Are there any more of those symbols that Avery found?
Along the path now. It seemed that the carvings and things were all in that cavern. Eventually, you make your way out. You hear a revving... I kept trying to go revving rowboat, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yes, the revving
Ooh,
rowboat.
maybe that's the name of Tony's boat, the revving rowboat.
They're rowing so fast it's making revving noises.
You hear a speedboat engine coming up around the bend, around some boulders. You can just see a bright red speedboat pull up next to Mark's boat, which is kind of more like a pontoon boat.
Don't recognize this one, so I'm going to say, Mark, stay back.
Mhm.
And I'm going to hide us in the corner just so we can still see.
Mark probably knows whose boat that is.
He's probably very confused. What's he doing out here?
You see several people on this boat.
I think there's more cultists coming.
One of them has a gun. It's big. He's totally decked out.
And Hannah, she can't panic yet. She goes, well, I left my gun back there. Oh, well.
Then you see Val's characteristic lab coat.
She's not tied up or
No.
anything.
No, she seems to be telling people what to do and trying to calm people down because there seem to be some panic and some people from town. Nobody that you recognize necessarily. Oh, Ruth is there. You see Ruth.
I see Ruth. Okay, this is definitely Val and Ruth. There's nothing suspicious about this at all.
Nothing at all.
Val!
I perk up as I'm mid-explaining to everyone. Don't trust anyone else except for
Val.
these people you haven't met. Oh, hey!
Val!
That's one of them. And
Okay.
I am going to say, hey, Hannah, where's everyone else?
In this dark, creepy tunnel. It goes on for a very long time.
It does.
It also changes color.
Okay, is it safe for civilians?
Well, there's nothing else in there, so I don't know. It's just us.
Mm.
If Avery were here, Avery would say, no, but Avery's not here, so.
Nothing in this area has deemed this place actually harmful, except for maybe the water.
You did hear that it was spiritually contaminated water.
I mean, there's kind of like an underground, like, cavern lake thing in there. Martin said don't go into the water, so, I mean, just stay in
I'm
the
gonna
tunnel.
leave it up to the people. Do you want to go down a scary tunnel that may or may not actually be safe?
That doesn't sound great. That really doesn't sound great.
Yeah, let's find another place for you guys.
There are some large boulders and brush and things. There even looks to be the ruins of an old house that's up above.
I'm going to direct them to the house and going to have Hannah help me take some like foliage or whatever to like help cover up the house to make it less accessible.
There's graffiti and trash and things in there.
And I'm going to say, if you see someone other than me, Hannah, and I'm going to talk to Joe and say, or the scary alien guy.
Mark's like, you guys have an alien guy with you?
Who's the alien guy? Is there someone else that you brought with you?
No, Joe here met Martin earlier today.
Martin's an alien?
No, that
Oh.
was his words.
He's
on-
totally an alien. He
Oh.
blew up my door.
No lightning
That's
struck
very
your door.
alien-like.
Anyways.
And there's an alien out there in the water. It about ate our boat.
I think that's a demon. Anyways,
Just minds exploding all
Aliens
over
and
the place.
demons.
we're just gonna keep you all in this safe little house. Mark, are you joining them or are you joining our group fighting whatever this thing is? Ruth and Tony, I leave the same invitation to you guys. Do you want to stay here or do you want to continue the LARPing that's actually real?
Never really thought it was LARPing to begin with. Seen a lot of strange things about.
That's a cool gun.
Isn't it?
Is that a shotgun or a hunting rifle?
Oh, no.
Hannah, who knows nothing
He's
about
got
guns.
a rifle.
Cool. I've got one too. Maybe you can tell me which one I have.
Oh, I'd be sure. You got it handy?
I don't have it with me. It's in the scary tool, so maybe I'll bring it out later.
All right. I'm going to keep up watch here in case that critter comes out lurking.
That's a really good idea.
He calls over to Mark. You packed like I didn't think I'd need it. It's all right, Mark. I've got some more here. And he goes over to the speedboat, and in the side locker that he had pulled up the oar, there are several other firearms there. Joe takes a pistol, too. His wife picks up a bigger gun and holds it handily.
We know who shoots in this family. Yeah, okay. Val, we're down here. It's weird. It goes a little bit longer than you think it should.
Huh. Who's staying and did anyone decide that they want to come with?
Mark is probably going to go with you, just because he had been down there before and is familiar with the tunnel, and Hannah's still a little bit out of it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you see that she's bleeding out of her head.
Man, Hannah, you must have like gone through the ringer.
How'd that happen?
Oh, Avery hit me with an oar.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I don't remember it, but
Were you about to be possessed or something?
maybe. I don't know.
Some friends you
Close
got here.
Close enough.
Huh. Okay, weird.
If you kids are all good, I'm gonna grab these folks and hole up there in the house here, and if anybody else seems to be in need of trouble, may call them over. There's a safe spot here if they can't get to shore.
Great. Oh, by the way, don't trust the sheriff, don't trust Darby, and don't trust... What was his name? George? Don't trust them. They're bad guys. They're the ones responsible for that thing.
Furrows his brow a little bit, but okay. Trusted you guys so far. You seem like you know what you're doing.
Okay, bye. And she starts walking to the ground.
She's not normally like this. I don't know what's going on with her, but you've got the fort, Tony. You're good?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. And Ruth, you're staying with him? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should be fine here.
Cool. And then Mark, you're coming with us. All right. Let's go into the long, scary tunnel.
Scary tunnel.
Cut back to the tunnel. Avery,
Yes.
you've been looking around.
Yes, I have. I've had to start using my cell phone flashlight.
Oh, yes, because you handed it off.
Mm-hmm.
As you were looking around further, you find another carved bone, and you manage to see it before you kick it into the water.
Oh, good. So I am not reaching into the water.
It appears to have some sort of symbols that look like they could be a language, but nothing that you recognize. It has kind of the same feel as the symbol of the Lurker itself. It's hard to identify what bone this was.
It's true, yeah.
It seems to even possibly be a couple ones that have somehow been fused and twisted together.
Oh, that's really weird. Someone's doing weird stuff with bones, Martin.
Martin will look at the bone.
Mm-hmm.
What's it look like?
It certainly seems like this is an element of their previous rituals, and it certainly has residual power tied to it.
So this is something that was warped by the rituals they did previously, probably releasing the Lurker.
Certainly by rituals done previously.
I'm gonna examine it.
Go ahead and investigate a mystery.
Ooh, I can roll badly on this.
Yeah, there you go.
I still have +1. That's a 7.
You have one question you can ask. What can it do is probably a reasonable thing. Or what is being concealed here. Or what happened here.
I'm gonna say what happened here.
When you see in the spiritual realm, you get a little bit of a glimpse of what happened around it.
Usually, it's things that left a major lasting impression, and more so on things that can have an impression spiritually. Like, rocks are very hard to leave an impression on spiritually because they're rocks. Not that you can't. They can absolutely be infused with something. You know, a rock that was used as a murder weapon, for example, would have that impression on it, but bone would much more easily pick up the life events of the person than they would after they became just dead bones and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would probably most likely see things relating to wherever it came from originally, and maybe a little bit, if I'm careful, of what actually happened to it, unless it was an overwhelming spiritual experience of some sort.
Mm-hmm. You get several flashes of who this bone belonged to, and it seems like this was the bone of a dog.
So that's the first thing Martin says. He looks at it like, dog bone.
And it was a... You're not real good with dogs, maybe, but
Oh,
it seems
Kayla.
like this is a...
It was a dog bone?
Kayla's face.
Oh, no!
Yep, there's Red's dog.
Red's dog?
Mhm.
Oh, no!
We found him.
You see flashes and things, and you get a glimpse, several in fact, of Red's face from a smaller perspective.
Aw.
And you recognize that from the photograph that you had seen.
Oh, no.
That progresses and pushes along. You don't get like a timeline of its life or that, but certainly like enough impressions or that. But the magic seems to be certainly of a summoning nature, but it seems closer tied to the portal or gateway down there than with the Lurker itself.
Chances are the Lurker was inside the area and they used the mass murder of a dog, among other things, to open the portal. Does that sound like a correct analysis?
A reasonable analysis, anyways.
Martin, after making his first astute comment, will then say, likely the early rituals were used to open the gate and open the prison of the Lurker. They were warped by the actions taken. It looks like there were probably sacrifices done to open the door the effects of that sacrifice probably warped the bones.
Avery, very sad. Avery has realized this was Red's dog. Can we close it?
The portal? That's what I'm trying to work on. We don't like sacrifice, right?
Are we talking like sacrificing a meal or two, or are we talking about sacrificing life?
I don't have good options yet.
Okay, cool. I'll leave you to it then.
I will hand her the bone. Martin senses that she is distraught by the fate of the dog, and so actually does say, sorry, it was not the dog's time.
It wasn't, the poor doggy. Well, I'm not sure if there's much else for me to look at in here. I can't see very far into the water. I don't want to touch the water. I don't want to go swimming.
Avery, I think as you're looking around, you see a small light, very reminiscent of the fish outside.
Oh no, where?
In the water.
No!
And it seems to originate in the dark spot. Come out and swim around a little bit.
Shoot.
And then it seems to go down in a way.
I'm assuming there's a way out, so that means the lurker must be able to get back in. Is there anything that I can find on any of the walls that would indicate something that might lure the lurker in here?
My instinct says I don't know that there would be anything specifically like that would say, this is what you need to lure the big fish monster in.
Right. Like, I don't know if there's, like, pictures of a fish eating people, if there's, like, ritual pictures of... Probably nothing that Avery would actually do, since this thing seems to like eating things and human sacrifices.
So you see the moon phases, and that seems to be kind of arching over a very large symbol of the lurker, and it's much more ornate. Again, for the listeners, the symbol is two interlocking horseshoes, one stacked on top of the other, and a wavy line on either side of them, and a circle in the middle. That circle lines up with what you figured out to be the moon.
Oh, interesting.
The wavy lines, there's a few more of them, and they're longer. You might be able to see that that's water.
Oh, so there's something above. Basically, it would indicate that there's something above the water and there's something below the water. I'm still not sure what to make of that. And with above all the symbols, so Avery might...
This wasn't necessarily like an answer to that question, just giving you more information about the symbol and that it is here.
Okay, got it.
On the central platform that kind of reached out a little bit, you do see some blood there.
Well, I'll just be taking some notes, I guess. Try to put down my thoughts on paper while I wait for Martin to come up with an idea. Maybe I can put together some ideas of what I've heard about closing ritual circles and stuff.
Yeah, and so Avery shot at that thing, but you managed to, like, totally avoid its mouth? That's really cool.
I mean, I just did not engage.
That makes sense. Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, hey! You made it! Okay, good. I'm glad you made it.
Yep. What did I miss?
Martin just says, hey, looks like we've got some civilians up above, too.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I couldn't really take them back to the shore and risk getting even more delayed or further attacks.
That's fair. Very fair. Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Mark also has a shotgun on him now.
Did he borrow it from Tony?
Yeah.
So what have you guys found? How's research going?
Well, we found out that Red's dog was part of the sacrifice. I show off a piece of bone and I stick it back in my pack.
Oh, that's really sad.
And more fish are coming out of the portal down to the bottom of this pool of water.
As you say that, there's another little light.
There goes another one.
Martin is going to take note of it now that you're mentioning it. We don't need to be here. We don't need to be anywhere near the water right now. All we need to do is prevent Darby and the others from doing their ritual. That doesn't require us to be here. If they want to do the ritual anywhere near here, we could do that just as easily outside of the cave.
But the lurker's already out.
So?
Are we just gonna let it stay there?
They're doing a ritual. Probably a ritual to help the water swell and overflow the world or region. But we don't need to be down here by this lake to prevent them from doing that.
Okay.
Martin is going to get up and he's going to start walking out because he has no reason to be down here.
With the amount of time that it's taken to go up and back down, because that passageway is very long, longer than it should be, Martin's got more time to be able to do research here. We're say at about like 5:15, somewhere about that.
Okay.
Now.
Well, I've used my 2 weird, so I'll roll with sharp now. 13.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know if you could hear that.
That was a snap of oh darn.
Oh darn. With a 13, That means that I get 3 more, which brings me up to 9. The requirements are surprising, but workable. Martin is walking back up, and he's like, well, give me a surprising requirement.
You need toothpaste.
What are you intending on doing?
This is for imprisoning the Lurker. Whether it's closing the portal or whether it's creating a new prison for it. Frankly, closing the portal is debatable since we don't know a good way to get it to willingly go in, since it doesn't probably want to go in unless it has something there that it can bring out.
I think that the requirement is that you're going to need to circle or bind the Lurker in some fashion, physically. Whether that's getting it within a chalk circle somehow, or painting it somehow, or using rope or chain or toothpaste.
Are chalk circles spherical or cylindrical? Thaumaturgically speaking.
You're asking, like, is the field of effect just in the flat dimension or also up and down?
Is it a bubble or a can?
I am assuming cylindrical.
Perfect. Martin says, all right, so does anyone have anything like chalk?
Maybe?
We need to make a circle. The island is a circle.
They were using this stuff to draw.
I look at it. Would it work?
Yeah.
Perfect. It'll work.
Val has certainly seen that this stuff paints permanently.
Yeah, very much so.
We need to create a circle. We need to get the Lurker into the circle. This island is a circle. A
The
goose
cave.
egg.
The cave is also.
But the cave is smaller, and we can't necessarily convince it to be there.
How big does the circle need to be?
Big enough to have the Lurker in it when we
Could we
finish
do
it.
a circle around the whole lake?
That would be a lot of
That'd
whatever
be
chalk
a lot
we
of
use.
chalk.
True, but how are we going to get the Lurker into any area? It's in the water.
Also, it may be gone after we finish this.
Do we have a net?
How big is the Lurker?
You have seen it twice now, or at least
Well, 2 people have seen it once.
two different people have seen it, but you can compare information. And
It was this big.
Yeah.
It was as
Have
big
you
as
ever
a
heard of
boat.
fish story?
The mouth was big enough to get a boat.
it is certainly at least bus-sized. Honestly, Kayla, when you were hitting Avalon things from D&D,
Uh-huh.
you're not too far off.
Okay.
So, big mouth on front, long tentacly things behind.
Pulling up a picture and yep, that's what you're describing, all right.
So, like, you said it's bigger than a bus. So basically, how many feet are we looking here?
I'm real bad with feet measurements.
A standard boat is about 20 to 30 feet, and it was eating boats.
We will say, and this is arbitrary, and we will adjust it, and it's hard to tell because it's long and spindly and things. 100 feet, 120.
How much
Sure.
time do we have until Darby and Co. are supposed to show up?
They were coming at 9.
So we have like 4 hours. Val?
Yep.
Based on calculations, do you think that we would have time to circle Goose Egg Island, or make a circle that takes up 2 points on Goose Egg Island extremities
In what kind of a time frame?
before Darby arrives at 9?
It'd be cutting it close.
We're hitting about 5:30 or so.
We need it to show up in person, and we need to have everything, all of our own ritual prepared before that happens. There's no way to circle this underwater lake.
I bet there's an inflatable somewhere in the boat.
There's not enough rock here, and you can't make a solid circle. So I'm in favor of grabbing buckets of this gunk sand and using it to make a circle outside of the cave.
Sure.
So are you saying it to like go down to the cave from up above?
Do a circle above the cave. That's why I
Okay.
asked, is it cylindrical or spherical?
That makes sense. Okay. Just making sure I'm following what you're saying.
And so we do the circle. The Lurker will never see the circle because it's a long way above rock. Now, if you are in the circle, you may still be in the circle at the end of it all.
Okay.
Well, we have extra hands to help make that circle upstairs. And I'm sure your Australian friend has quite the selection of maybe buckets. He has a lot of things on that boat.
He might have bullets for you.
He's gonna look at my gun too to tell me what it is.
There you go.
Val, can you make a portal?
I could definitely try.
I'm very worried about how long it takes to leave the cave. And right now my thoughts are make a portal to reduce travel time, or to ask you if you can make a remote explosive that could, with a signal that could travel up and down the cave, so that we could lure it in and cause destruction, which the Lurker needs to investigate in person to deal with regardless.
I think the latter is going to be more doable. That, and I'd rather not test portal technology with all of you.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Sure, Val, just quick invent a viable portal to move between known location to known location.
Right.
Without, ending up in the rock in between.
And you have 2.5 hours.
And minimal materials.
I still have the ghost box.
You do.
From the previous mystery.
Ooh.
I've been carrying it with me. So I am going to...
Now, is this the ghost box, like, that the spirits talk to the box, or is this the ghost trap box?
This is the pocket dimension trap box that requires a lot of power and not very reliable. But I have the move refactoring. You may take any two devices and rebuild them together, gaining all the abilities of each component device. The new device is the same size as the larger component. We'll have all the tags of the components, except you may delete or change one tag. So, what is a device that someone else has that I can combine this trap box with that can act as an exploding device with a timer on it?
I have 2 bullets.
That's not going to help me, but thanks, Hannah.
We might have to go raid the boat.
Boats have fuel.
They do have
Yes, they have engines too.
fuel. Hey, do any of you have a lighter?
I can't think of a reason that Avery would have one, so no.
Why?
I want to see if this stuff burns.
Martin is going to use magic. And he says some funny, strange word.
Please don't set the whole beach on fire.
Hannah's going to take her shoe off and hold it up to Martin. With the stuff on the bottom.
He conjures a flame on his hand.
Go ahead and roll plus weird. I like this. This is good. I just want to allow the chance for failure.
10.
Okay. You're good.
Aw, you didn't explode us.
You're too good, Martin.
I'm, consigned to the fact that I'm not going to roll a failure this session.
You conjure the flame. It is in your hand.
I put my shoe over the flame.
It reacts strongly. And it goes up. Boom.
Okay, well, somebody needs to help me hop out of here.
If your foot has touched the mud at all, it is stained.
Yeah, no, I'm just like hobbling.
So is the entire Lurker's area highly flammable? As in, if we put a gas fire down there remotely, it would become a raging inferno, and none of the minions we've seen are able to play Squirtle and squirt water, and so the Lurker itself might need to show up?
There is certainly a lot of this slime down there. Seems like the whole beach seems to be made of it.
We should just paint the walls over the symbols and just go for it.
I don't think we need to fight its minions if the entire area is a fireball.
Well, I'm saying from the beach to there, we literally just fireball this thing and it takes care of itself.
Yep.
Right. But we don't want to do that until we're ready.
Right.
As a fan of the players, I will let you know one thing too. You can see a crack to the surface that you can see some sunlight seeping through.
So we may not have to have a remote detonation. We just need to have a long fuse.
Just drop a match.
Also useful for it, and that's over like the water itself. It seems to be in the center, but
Oh man, just pour the oil into the water and light that thing up.
actually, for cinematic, thematic, it is putting a beam of light down on the little pedestal thing.
Ah, yes.
Because that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Pour the oil down into the water now, and then when we need to cause a fire, we just light it up. And all right, I think we need to start acting. Martin is going to grab a bucket and wander up to the surface. Other people need to bring oil down and grab buckets up. Martin is going to want to have Val on top, at least at some point, so that he can make sure that the circle is in the correct place, and Val is much better at locating things with geometry than he is, I suspect.
Probably.
Martin, is this where you're stopping your research?
I'm fine with this plan. I don't need to do any more research as far as I can tell.
So I'm going to let you know some other requirements for the magic itself. You figured out how to do your circle. You're going to need some sort of aspect of the creature, something tied to it.
Like sludge?
Sledge or that medallion that we found.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd work.
You're going to need to use magic to do the actual binding, and you're going to need 3 people in total to work on this.
Well, sounds like I'm already helping you.
I can help with the ritual things.
You're the one I want. And Martin is looking around. Which of these schmucks has a good weird? I know Hannah does, which is why Martin.
I have a 2.
I feel like Ruth would have a good weird because she's a science fiction writer, right?
I think that, let's go ahead and say that Ruth has the most occult weird.
Oh,
the other
good.
people are weird in different ways.
Guys,
Avery is very
But
weird.
I think that she is the most likely of any of them to have a +1.
Does
Yeah,
Avery
and
have a
stuff.
high weird?
2.
So you're weirder than our
Yeah,
NPCs.
Avery is weirder than
I am
Ruth.
very weird.
Martin is going to start babbling things, and you're pretty sure it sounds... What was it you said earlier, Corin? Was it Babylonian or Latin in reverse?
in the chat, I was talking about how Hannah has a really bad headache, and so don't make her babble ancient Babylonian backwards. She's probably not going to be able to help, but I guess she's going to have to do that.
Uh-huh. By virtue of having a high weird score,
Yay.
you will be chanting ancient Babylonian backwards.
Hurrah.
If you want, David, I even wrote up a chant.
Does it sound like ancient Babylonian backwards?
I have no idea on that.
It will when we say it backwards.
So it sounds like you guys have a pretty good plan in place.
Val has ideas of possibly trying to use the pocket dimension trap box that she had created from the encounter with the silencer. Not sure how helpful that's going to be in this case, but
Back up in case we can't get it in here, maybe.
yeah, it would need a lot of power though. Maybe we could use some of the boats if they have like a battery or something.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteer a tribute for the Bucket Brigade because I've dealt with this nasty tar-like stuff.
Yeah, I'll be helping with Bucket Brigade.
How are we going to get it back here?
We need something that it wants.
So lighting the sticky calamari sand is not going to do that.
No, I mean, but the goop, it seems to be tied to the lurker in some fashion, and it lit up very
It's
quickly.
probably like it's ichor or something.
Gross.
The lurker is flammable, guys. Probably. Except he can just
Or the
go in
lurker
the water.
is spawning. And these are all
Ew!
Oh, gross.
Oh, ew!
I don't
oh.
like either of those options.
Yeah, second. So, Avery, you and I are going to circle around the island with this black tar stuff.
Yep. Let's pull Tony and Ruth in as well, and Joe and his wife, and whoever else you picked up. This is gonna take a while.
I would ask that we make sure they're okay with it, because I don't want to force anyone to do anything.
Oh, yeah,
but-
they don't have to go in the cave. We can take the stuff and bring it out of the cave, and then they just need to take it up to a certain point, basically.
I can probably explain that situation to them and tell them do not touch it with your bare hands unless you want a permanent tattoo.
Yes.
And Mark's there with you, and he's like, yeah, I can help you with that.
Okay, good. They would probably trust you more because you are like actually from here, and I am just a 16-year-old visitor.
But you seem to be very competent for
Oh,
16.
thanks. I'm freaking out right now.
Understandable. I'm honestly pretty scared myself.
I'm going to have nightmares about that thing for months. It's terrifying.
Just compartmentalize.
The opposite of scared and concerned, Martin has a bucket and is gesturing to the rest of the Bucket Brigade because Martin's the one who's going to be like, splash there, there, there. No, not that direction. No, it needs to be like that.
Hannah's going to scoop up some of that ichor and start heading. As she does, Martin, you see just a little wisp of yellow float closer to her.
Keeper, Martin isn't a very sociable person.
Really? I didn't notice.
Bodily health is something that he takes a concern in. It occurs to him that most people, well, besides being unable to spray their anxiety out, don't have problems with anxiety trickling back in the way that Hannah seems to be. Is there a clog, perhaps, or something?
It certainly seems like she's disconnected from part of her spiritual energy. And I think that you might be able to help her with that if you like. You can probably use magic for that.
Should I roll?
It's going to be use magic, roll plus weird, with the intention.
Aww.
Is that an awe because you didn't fail?
I rolled a 4, which means a 7.
Mixed success.
which means that there is a glitch.
Ooh.
You have not had many
But
glitches.
no experience.
Keep hoping to get experience on weird rolls, but you have a +3.
I hope for any roll. I just only ever roll weird.
Yes, it's true.
You play to your strengths and hope to fail.
We need to have you talking to people more.
Usually Martin doesn't even roll charm when he talks to people. I've been told he doesn't talk to people, he talks at people.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that just automatically fails, and you don't get experience from
You know,
it.
that's a good point. I think we just assume an automatic fail.
You don't get experience if you were never trying to succeed.
Exactly.
All right, David. So on a 7 to 9, the spell that you're trying to do, or the magical effect, or however you choose to flavor that, is that it works imperfectly. Choose your effect and a glitch. You have probably heal 1 harm or from an injury, or cure a disease, neutralize a poison. I'm okay with wrapping it in that. As far as the glitches, the effect is weakened. The effect is of short duration. You take 1 harm, ignore armor. The magic draws immediate, unwelcome attention. It has a problematic side effect.
You don't say. It draws immediate,
Oh,
unwelcome
no.
attention.
That's
no.
convenient, right?
You know, I think
The circle isn't ready.
Yeah,
That-
how far are we into this circle?
Not.
Haven't even started.
Martin, almost casually and certainly without caring about it either way, raises his hand out in Hannah's direction, and you can see a certain darkness start to form, almost like the shadow of Martin's hand elongates and becomes these tendril-like figures that reach out to Hannah's shadow and touches it. And Hannah,
Yeah?
you suddenly feel anxious. But not only do you feel anxious, but the magic draws immediate unwelcome attention.
What are we doing? Oh my gosh, what is happening? And she immediately drops the bucket.
Oh no, does it splatter
Goes-
all over you?
It splatters
Oh.
all over her, and she drops to the ground like in a squat with her hands in her hair. She's just convulsing and she's crying and she's screaming. She's like, what are we doing? Why are we here? It was so big. She is just freaking out.
Does she look like a more healthy yellow now?
Her spiritual energy seems to be connected.
My yellow is starting to go out crazily. And
Almost like tendrils.
yeah, almost like tendrils. But because it came back so quickly, she doesn't have any control of it. So she immediately, because she's thinking of this crazy monster, she's immediately going to tune in.
Tune in is one of your moves, right?
Yeah, so I attune my mind to a monster or minion, and I get to roll weird.
It's okay. You're still normal.
Yeah.
We have to raise your weird a bit.
Oh no. 3. Narratively, this makes a lot of sense. Whew, boy. On a miss, a monster becomes aware of you.
Imagine that.
I kind of feel like we're playing out of Avery's playbook. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Avery likes to take abilities, not because they're like amazing and she can succeed, but because she knows she can fail and get what she wants.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so on the spiritual plane, you see Hannah's yellow aura starts growing and growing. But because there's that ichor on there, it's starting to meld with the ichor. And Martin, you see the yellow aura start to hit those like spiritual lines that you had seen before coming out of the water, and it starts feeding into that. She has no control of what's going on.
Your emotional, spiritual lines are following the
Lurkers.
paths of the small fish and the lurker out into the lake.
And so on a miss, the monster becomes aware of me, where I am, and what I'm doing,
Oh, jeez.
and what I'm covered in.
Meaning his ichor.
She is doing something highly supernatural here, and that's one of the things that does catch Martin's attention in a general sense. He sees that she's back to normal, but sees that she's also freaking out, spiritually speaking. Martin thinks she's in danger. Thinks she's in a lot of danger. Not from the lurker barreling down on her physically, which it probably is after that, but because the lurker has shown a propensity for being a mental entity, and she is currently trying to give it a hug.
You're basically a lighthouse.
100%.
Martin is going to walk up to Hannah, put himself right in front of her.
She's crouched down and she's almost like ripping at her ears.
and is going to say, "Stop now." But he does so using unfiltered.
So is that when you show your true form?
Right, so you get to see what Martin looks like.
The only one of the player characters who has done so.
Hannah looks up and sees Martin in all of his form.
Glory may not be the appropriate term.
Glory may not be the appropriate term for this.
The horror.
Yes and no. Hannah is feeling an emotion she cannot describe. And you see her pupils constrict as if she's in fight or flight mode. But then there's a small hint of recognition. But she backs away and stands up and says, "What are you? And why are you familiar?"
Is she no longer broadcasting?
Yeah, I think so.
Martin allows the filter back on and then says, "Of course I'm familiar. Why wouldn't we be?" And he's going to go back about his business.
Martin, what was... Hannah, are you okay?
Her anxiety came back.
Oh,
All of you at that moment hear it. You feel a pulse in the lake. You feel a rumble and a terrifying roar that shakes the island, shakes the lake.
Whoa.
Hannah, you felt the reaching tentacles that you recognized from your earlier dip in the lake,
Mhm.
the first time, when you brushed up against
Yeah, how many
the
dips
Lurker.
is this now?
I think two.
Yeah,
Only
okay.
two.
Okay.
Not for lack of trying. And that hunger is coming back. It is growing stronger, and it is coming for you.
Run. 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 She's going to start running up the tunnel. The circle's not done. It's coming for me. What do I do? What do I do?
I hand you a bucket. Hannah, take bucket.
Val, you're outside, and you and Mark were out there and moving buckets and things. You also feel this shake of the earth and the lake. And further out than you had seen the Lurker before, much closer to the lake shore, towards where the old cot is, you see a splash and something rise up out of the water that looks a lot like one of the tentacles, as if this huge creature has turned around.
Is it telescoping for us? Periscoping? Is that the word?
More as if it does that swimmer turn, going one direction and has now turned
did the
around.
flip.
You can see a strong V as the water is pulling away.
So the wake of the water.
Mhm.
Seeing that, I am going to tell Mark, "Give me your boat keys. Keep pouring this in the circle that Martin told you. I'm gonna try to do a last ditch something to slow down the Lurker."
All right. He tosses you the keys. We'll get to it.
All right. I'm going to run over to his boat, and I am going to take the keys to put it into power mode, not fully turning it on, but enough to get the battery going.
Sure.
And attempt refactoring to connect my pocket dimension trap box to the engine of the boat to try and power it and see if I can. If I can't trap the Lurker, then at least try and slow it down.
And you're connecting it to the boat because
It needs a lot of energy.
Right.
Yes.
We established that in the first mystery. Cool.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So with refactoring, you can take any two devices and rebuild them together, gaining all the abilities of each component device. The new device is the same size as the larger component, so I guess the boat, or the engine of the boat.
Maybe you're pushing the capabilities of the dimension box into the boat itself.
Yes.
I'm cool with that.
Okay. And then I'll have all the tags of the components except you may delete or change one tag. So this would be using my weird science move, right?
That's what makes sense to me. Go ahead and roll weird science.
Don't fail me, dice. I think they failed me.
Oh, good.
8. On a mixed success, I pick one requirement and the keeper picks another. Okay. Here's my issue with the weird science, because I already have like the requirement that's on the one thing.
Let's work it like weird magic, and
Okay.
that you do what you want, but there's a glitch.
Okay. I'm good with this.
So you can do it and pick a glitch.
You know what? I take some harm. I haven't always been the best at safety, and so I get a little bit of a jolt as I'm trying to get these devices to connect together, and I feel this travel through my body as the electricity buzzes me, or whatever you want to call it, and then I have to shake myself off and say, okay, gloves.
Oh no.
Pull out my gloves. I'm actually, for the first time, going to take down my goggles and put them over my eyes and protect my eyes.
And in the blah of the van, a crumpled up safety precautions piece of paper falls out of the trash.
That says, always wear your safety goggles.
Yes. And please wear gloves when working with electricity.
After taking that harm, I'm going to finish putting all of the pieces together and give the boat key one last little jiggle and see if the pocket dimension trap box springs to life.
It does. It makes weird noises that's not engine noises.
Uh-oh.
You haven't turned on your interdimensional box, but it seems to be humming with otherworldly energy. Martin, you see a bit of a spike of like, that's not the Lurker's energy.
Martin is slopping his bucket and looks over in that direction and then continues slopping his bucket. Something else is going on. I may have actually seen Val do these things before because I do work with her in the lab a lot.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm very preoccupied at the moment.
Hannah, in her panic, is going to open up her case and she's going to pull out the hunting rifle.
Gonna be so effective against the Lurker.
Oh, absolutely. She's been totally calm for 6 hours, and all of a sudden her anxiety and fear is back. And she's like, I have to protect. I have to protect. And she's like fumbling around and she's trying really hard to do gun safety, but it's getting really hard to remember it. She sees that thing coming, and when she thinks she has a shot, she's gonna try and shoot it.
Go ahead and act under pressure for the shot. Roll plus cool.
Would my dimension trap box be helping to maybe slow it down a bit, that it would help her get a clearer shot? My intention is to have it kind of act like a vacuum, to like super turbocharged vacuum, to try and pull it towards the direction of the trap box. Maybe it will have enough force that maybe some tentacles will come sucking in and leave the Lurker's body.
Leave it less dangerous.
Leave it a few less tentacles. With the force pulling in an opposite direction, it has to fight against that gravitational pull and slow it down a bit, giving Hannah more time to steady her shot and attempt to hit the Lurker.
Ashlyn, I have this cartoon image in my head of the Lurker like getting a quarter of the way sucked in, and it's still like normal, right?
Yes.
So it's not like especially hurt. It's just got its foot stuck in it, as it were,
Yeah.
except that its foot is in another dimension, so
Right.
it's entirely missing. So it's just, this giant fish monster with tentacles and a box.
Right,
Where,
exactly.
the lower half used to
I mean,
be.
it's probably not going to get to that point, but that's the kind of imagery I'm going for.
So Hannah's not going to aim for that interdimensional foot. She's going to aim for the big body.
We'll give you a +1 for help.
Oh, okay. Cool. That is a 7.
Even with a +1 from Val helping with the trap box.
No, it's an 8.
With that mixed success, we've got a worse outcome, hard choice, or price to pay. I think that you have waited to the last moment, and that shot that you hit, it still does damage. How much damage does it normally do?
3.
It doesn't do as much as you would like, but that's not the effect of your mixed success. It
Okay.
just seems to have a tough skin.
Magically armored.
But as it does so, it spurts this ichor around it. Some of it is flung by the tentacle and splashes all over Val.
Oh no, Val's
Oh, no.
covered.
Lovely.
Ew.
Do any of its tentacles go slurp into the pocket dimension trap box?
So this is really big. Where's the box itself? Is that the focus of this pulling energy?
I'm going to say yes, because it's built to be able to take things even bigger than the opening and squeeze it through, because, dimensional pocket spaces are timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Kind of black hole-ish a little bit.
Yeah.
On top of the boat, or have you dropped it in the water and it's connected?
I would say I have it resting on the front part of the boat. I have it tied down onto the front of the boat so that it will, you know what? Maybe it will be kind of like the Little Mermaid when Ursula gets disappeared by the ship that Prince Eric is wielding.
Steering.
Steering.
one could say.
Thank you. I was like, I can't think of the word.
I liked wielding. I thought that was good.
I wield the boat.
Anyways, so kind of like going for that effect, but, obviously there isn't a broken plank of wood that's at the front of the boat that can spear this thing, but that's a visual I'm going for.
I think it's pulling so much that, and I may tweak what I previously said there, is that it's not so much the ichor that has splashed you as the bulk of the creature has bumped the boat and knocked you into the water.
Okay.
Let's do that instead.
I am knocked into the water. It'd be really funny if the trap box was pulling so much force that it pooped itself.
Oh, no.
Don't actually keep that in the podcast. That was just a funny thought I had.
And it squeezes it like toothpaste in the Kraken.
So how close is the other boat to us?
I mean,
they're
it's
next.
docked right next to each
Yeah.
other.
It's bumped the other one away.
Okay.
And it is thrashing, and
Val is in the water.
It is pulling around you. Val, you see as you go beneath the waves this enormous bulk of creature. You see it. It is long. It is like 100 feet long, and it is green and slimy. You see beneath it, in addition to these thick tentacles,
My nightmares are going to get further fuel.
these seaweedy jellyfish-like ones as well. That spray around and reach towards you as well.
Oh, noes.
Hannah's gonna yell out, Martin, Avery, Val's in the water. She's doing something with the box. I think if we give it more power or something, do you think it will suck the whole thing in?
I don't know, as I'm running towards Val to help get her out of the water.
Martin, can you help boost this thing?
No.
I would like to help Val get out of the water, and I'm telling Hannah and Martin that we need to finish the circle.
Okay, how do you do that?
Which part? Getting Val out of the water?
Yeah.
Oh,
Toss a rope?
Yeah, rope. Sounds great. I'm sure there's rope over there by the dock.
The dock has got smashed.
Okay, cool.
There's a thrashing big beast there, and I don't think that you can see Val.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's a problem. Guys, I don't know if I can help Val. I'll toss a buoy over there, a life preserver, in the general direction of Val.
Okay, plop.
What do we need to do? Avery, what do we need to do?
Hannah, you need to go into the cave. It's following you, I think. Right? You and Martin. It seems to be following you and Martin.
Okay.
You don't have to get in the water. Just go to the cave.
Okay. She's gonna load her gun and she's gonna run towards the cave because she doesn't know what else to do.
Mm-hmm.
She's full panic mode. She's not thinking at all.
Remind her to chant Babylonian backwards.
Remember the words that Martin taught you. Val, I can't get to you. I don't know how to get to you, Val. I might have to abandon you to help put the circle back together because I don't know what else to do.
Do what Avery would do.
Okay, so I'm going to protect someone, kind of. Shoot the monster and run away from where Val's at. See if I can kind of lure it away. I figure if I'm an annoyance, at least there's that.
Sure, yeah.
So roll tough.
Yeah, go ahead and roll to protect someone.
That is a 10.
Hey!
Ooh.
Good job. On a 10 plus, you protect someone from harm, and you get to choose one extra. You suffer little harm because you'll be suffering all of the harm that they were going to get. All impending danger is now focused on you. You inflict harm on the enemy, or you hold the enemy back.
We're going to do... All impending danger is now focused on you, I think.
That sounds pretty great. Where are you right now?
Next to the dock.
You see an eye as big as you swivel to you, and the tentacles suddenly are focused. It swings out of the water and starts clambering up onto the shore a bit and slams down towards you.
Oh, no.
I will need you to act under pressure to get out of the way.
Okay. 8.
You were able to get just out of the way, so it's only a glancing blow. Instead of 4 harm, it does 2.
Oh, ow. Oh, ow. Oh.
I forget, does Avery have any armor?
Oh, no. I have reached 4 harm, so I am unstable.
Oh, good. You are slammed into the ground,
Ow.
knocking your head against the rock.
Oh,
and
ow.
you can feel the blood trickle across your neck.
Well, hopefully, Val, that was enough, because I've got to unsteadily run inshore now, or risk dying.
You gonna run to the cave or run inland?
It's kind of the same.
Okay.
Martin, you're out there.
Martin sees all this going on and is going to continue doing his job, because if the circle doesn't get made, then all of their sacrifices are in vain.
I'm trying to think of a good and fair way to decide how much of the circle you finished yet, because you've been focused on this. We'll say that you are 3/4 of the way.
Okay.
If you spend your time focusing on that, as opposed to fighting off the Lurker or some such other things, you will be able to finish it in a short amount of time.
Excellent. Martin continues, seemingly oblivious to all the chaos screaming and everything else around him.
Tony and Mark are there with their weapons, and Joe's wife, Val, you learned her name was Annika along the way.
We named them so that you care about them when they get eaten.
No! Val's drowning in the water, or kind of in the water.
Oh yeah, you are in the water. They are taking shots at the Lurker, but it doesn't seem to be doing much. Let's cut to Hannah.
Hannah's running down. She's reciting the ancient backwards Babylonian. She's got a massive headache. She thinks people are coming with her, but she's just running because you guys told her to run down. And she's going to run all the way down to the beach in a panic because she's like, I don't want the thing to find me. I don't want the thing to find me, but I need it to find me. And she's going to accidentally again tune in.
This is happening as you're going because it takes a long time to get down to the pool.
Okay, I failed again. So I got a 4.
Are you marking experience for each time you fail?
I am now.
Did I get experience when she took my advice and stopped the first time?
Sure.
Okay.
Your often right move.
So the monster becomes aware of me, knows exactly what I'm doing. I'm a nice, tasty morsel reaching out to it.
Let's go ahead and cut back to Val. You have been saved by Avery. You were in the midst of these tentacles, and you could feel the pulsing, shocking energy burning.
I've already felt this even like 2 minutes ago.
But just as it was close to getting to you, it pulls away, and it's drawn away further down the beach. And then you can see it go down and deeper into the lake.
Am I anywhere near the boat? Is the boat still even like upright, or is it capsized?
It has certainly capsized.
Okay.
You are there next to it.
Is it worth going to get my trap box? Is it going to be helpful at this point, you think? No.
don't think
Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. If I can retrieve it after the mission, if I survive, I will get it then. It's probably going to need to be fixed after this anyways, because it's waterlogged. Sitting down there a little bit longer isn't going to hurt it worse. So, I am doggy paddling to shore.
Okay. You break the surface and make it back to the shore.
Do I see anyone at this point? Because you are going down the tunnel. I probably see Martin finishing with the circle. Avery
started running, following Hannah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because I had all the danger on me, and so I was calling out to it, and I was like, yeah, you big lump of lard, you big tentacled fish, come after
That's
me.
right. It was climbing up on the shore.
Yeah, come after me, and then I started running for the caves.
It was, and then I think you said it was...
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Yep. So I'm going after Hannah, so I'm not too far behind Hannah.
Okay. You come up, and there are the rest of your bystanders there that you had brought. Many of them are shouting and looking out and pointing their weapons out at the water and waiting for it to resurface.
Don't worry about it. I think it's going after Hannah. You need to finish the circle with Martin. That's our priority. We're not gonna be able to succeed with anything if we don't get this circle finished.
All right, Mark takes command and he shouts to the others and get back to your buckets and we've got to get this done. This is more important.
All right, I'm gonna help him finish the circle.
And there will need to be 3 people as part of the actual magical ritual.
Eeny, meeny, mo.
I'm down, and I'm not over by the circle, though.
I'm inside.
So when you say you need help, you need 3 people to do this, activate the circle. Do they need to be in the tunnel, or they need to be at the outer rim of where the circle?
They just need to say their lines. The circle's prepared. It's got my cultists keyed into it. They just need to say their lines.
You're cultist.
Uh-huh.
Anna,
Yeah?
you finish coming out of those winding, close passageways. Your feet hit that splashy, oozish mud of the black sand of the cavern.
With your one bare foot. Because you burned your shoe.
You can feel that hunger, that presence growing closer. And now that you're tuned in more, I don't think that you noticed before, but you can feel the presence of the portal and see it there as well, deep and down in the darkness.
I'm going to look around really quickly. Is there anything that I can make a spark?
Depending on how much effort we put into it, there might be gasoline cans.
You guys went up and down enough. I think there's at least a couple of the cans.
Hannah is going to grab the gasoline cans and start dumping it in the water because I don't know when this thing is going to be done upstairs. So it's just like she's improvising. What do I need to do? She's looking around. Is there a match or anything?
Amongst all of the things and the people that you've got, you found a lighter among them. So you had that down and prepped.
Cool. So she's just waiting for this thing to come at her. And so she's starting to chant under her breath, Ishlav Dokri Lakri Na. Ishlav Dokri Lakri Na. Ishlav Dokri Lakri Nav. She's standing at the edge of the beach and she's got this lighter ready to go. So if the lurker starts coming at her and a tentacle comes on land, she's going to light the beach up. So it gets on the tentacle and hopefully on it and I don't know,
and
light it up on
you and on all of your...
She's not thinking that far ahead.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. Avery comes in at this point as well.
Okay. Oh, great idea. Slow it down. Here, let me have the lighter. You're covered. Here, back up a little bit. I've got the lighter.
I hand it over. See
if I can get my ichor-covered friend away from...
Okay, you pulling her back into the entrance?
Yes.
I'm gonna keep my gun ready. Maybe do a little bit more damage, who knows?
I'm trying to approximate where the end of the circle probably is, but it's really hard to tell down here. I am probably so off.
Everything that would mark out the entirety of the cave.
But the tunnel is fine.
No, the tunnel is not fine.
Okay, so at this point, you and I are probably gonna get stuck.
This is gonna suck. I'm going to call up Martin. Can you hear us? There's a hole in the ceiling.
Can I hear them through the supernaturally long tunnel or the hole?
The hole.
I don't think so.
Okay. Martin has started chanting it. He's gotten, getting close to finishing here, and he's, getting into the rhythm of everything.
Okay.
Ishlav, Doktri, Lakri, Na.
I'll be helping chant that down there, and as soon as we see the lurker, I'm going to throw the lighter onto the beach, where it'll hopefully light up, and then hopefully it'll light up the water as well because of the gasoline. And then I'm going to get Hannah to run with me back in the tunnel, and we'll see how we go.
At that moment, Hannah, you feel that presence is here.
Is there? It's coming through the portal thing.
And it's just there in the water. It's not coming up. It's almost as if it's lurking.
I'm going to run forward onto the stone dais.
Oh my gosh, no! Hannah, get back here!
Ishlav, Dokri,
Lakri,
Na.
It comes up out of the water in an explosion of froth and foam.
Light it! And I'm going to start running back. Just don't worry about me, just light it.
I throw it.
I need both of you to act under pressure.
No!
Martin, are we going down to the tunnel or are we... Oh, what are you chanting?
Martin looks over at you and shakes his head. And, Martin is not an expressive person, but his eyes are saying, do not go anywhere near that tunnel.
Okay.
And he does not break off his chanting. He is doing the spell right now. So
Perfect.
just whenever you say roll is when I'll roll and we'll finish it up.
Okay.
So the rolls are narratively successful.
Oh, good. I like that.
That's a 5 over here.
And I got a 7.
Avery, your intention was to throw the lighter.
I ran after Hannah because she was going for the stone dais. And as soon as Hannah said, throw it, I threw it.
Okay. You throw it, and the lighter goes wide. You've got a strong arm. We've established this already.
Yes.
And the lighter goes straight into the lake.
No!
Hannah, what was your result again?
It was a 7.
This dais is slippery. You slip, but you fall right at the base of the dais onto the mud there.
Great. I'm going to point my gun, and I'm going to fire it level with the goo and hopefully it lights on fire from the spark on the gun.
You're firing at the beach or the water?
I'm firing it level on the beach.
Okay. You're like skidding it or something.
Yeah,
So she's
so
prone.
the spark comes out.
The entire cave lights up.
And it's like slow motion, like in a war movie. Run, Avery, run!
Hannah, you take 3 harm.
Okay.
Avery, you also take 3 harm.
I'm at 7. I am dying.
Oh no.
Martin, Val, you hear a terrifying roar that shudders the entire island. It shudders you to your core. You can feel your bones of this as there is this scream of an otherworldly creature. And this is certainly the moment. Martin, roll magic to complete the ritual.
Remind me what luck does.
You turn any roll into a 10+.
I rolled a 10 before mods, so it's like a 13.
Yeah.
Luck not required.
Describe the ritual as it goes off. It goes perfectly.
I don't know that anyone around here really gets to experience it. Suddenly, everything just goes very silent. Every living thing inside the circle has been sealed away. After a moment of silence, Val probably hears Martin say, "Return to hell, Lurker, and stay there a while this time." And then he looks around and shuffles back to his normal self.
Val is looking at Martin. What about Avery and Hannah?
The ritual succeeded, so they did their part. I don't know where they are currently.
Are they dead or in another dimension?
If they were inside the circle, then they are imprisoned.
Upon hearing this, Val, ever the scientist and ever the penchant for mischief with portals, is going to have this faraway look on her face as she asks Martin, "So where did you send the Lurker?"
It would have been too complex to send it back to the Black Abyss specifically, but a neighboring district of hell most likely. It was not a place made for mortal beings, but there is no death there.
So with that statement from Martin, Val is going to come to her senses a bit, stop plotting, trying to create a portal to this banished realm to see if she can rescue her companions, and instead start to feel true loss. Because this is the first time she has experienced losing someone close to her. She's lost a good friend. She lost a new friend who was closer in age, even if she was a little uptight about the rules. But she starts to think, what if they don't want to come back to this plane? What if it has disastrous consequences? What if they're forever changed and they're not able to resume a normal life here? Would that be even worse torture than whatever has happened to them now? And so with these thoughts, Val is growing up a little bit at this moment. She's seeing what being an adult can truly entail. She's going to look at Martin and say, "I'm going to call Dr. Carter and let her know that we took care of the situation and we need some backup to set things right again here."
Martin nods. Somebody who can explain things. They don't let me do it.
That's basically what Val is going to do. She's going to make the rounds, make sure that everyone is safe and accounted for as well as they can.
Yeah, it seems that the people that you have brought with you were outside of the circle. None of them were caught up in it.
So one thing, I said living things got taken. We can know definitively whether Avery was taken and sealed away or not by whether her body is there.
Martin can do that. Val is not.
Martin, the cavern stretches out before you, and as you suspected, you see a figure you recognize on the beach next to the water. It is Avery, but she's not alone.
What else is there?
There is someone else.
Do I recognize this figure, or at least do I recognize this figure's aura?
Certainly.
There's a fine mist on the ground, and you see a man with his hands in his pockets with a very large coiled up whip on his back. Looks like it's made out of bone.
A bone whip?
Like a spine bone whip.
Ooh.
And he's standing there looking at the body of Avery. Hey, Martin.
Hey, Seven.
I did not expect to come for her so soon.
I'm surprised you came at all.
It's my job. He sighs and leans down and grabs the burnt hand of Avery. He actually grabs onto something and pulls up, and you see the spirit of Avery pull out of her body, and Avery is now standing with us. Hey, Avery.
Hey, Seven.
It's time to go.
I'm glad it was you that came to get me. Did Val make it okay?
Yes.
I'm sorry about Hannah.
Everything gets better after this. And don't worry, nothing is forever.
You ready?
Yep. And yes, I'm actually crying now.
It's okay,
Seven.
join me.
So emotionally moving. So I turn to Martin and I say, keep an eye on Val.
Seven holds out his hand for you.
I grab Seven's hand.
He pulls her towards him, and then they're both gone.
Martin is going to respectfully and carefully take the body and collect it and carry it back up.
And I think that's where we're going to leave this. So lots of feelings here. This is not the end of the story, but it is certainly the end of the mystery. And as such, we are going to do our end of the session move. So, first question, did we conclude the current mystery?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations. You
Amazing.
guys have a second mystery under your belts, even if some of you don't have a belt anymore.
Aw.
Or at least took it elsewhere.
Anything they took with them is still on them,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
presumably.
Did we save someone from certain death or worse?
Does it count if we save the town?
Yeah.
I mean, this thing had aims on the entire, who knows how much. We did
Yeah.
a big thing here.
We also save people on the lake, so
Absolutely. There were several occurrences with that. There were the people that Val got off the boat with others. There's the entire town. I think you guys have well hit that one, yes. Did we learn something new and important about the world or the monster?
Yeah,
he's flammable.
Yeah.
very
yeah.
flammable.
You learned a weakness of the Lurker there.
We also learned about afterlife a little bit.
We learned where the monster came from. We learned where it got sent back to.
Mm-hmm.
That might fit under our fourth question there. Did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters?
Yes.
did.
Seven.
Seven
I
the
think we learned a little
Doulahan.
bit about everyone.
Yeah.
We did.
Yep, Martin. Hannah learned something about Martin. Not that we're ever gonna find out.
That's
she
true.
took it. She took it with her to
Oh
her
no, that's
fake death.
true. She took it with her to another realm of existence.
Yep. Martin's secret is still
The
safe.
secret remains.
Oh boy. What things did we learn about each other, the hunters here?
Val is definitely going to be experiencing nightmares from this mystery.
Aw.
She's going to have nightmares of the giant tentacle monster
Mhm.
and its fearsome visage. She is going to have nightmares about losing Avery and Hannah. She's going to have nightmares about Martin just killing old grandmas and grandpas. She's been changed. Like, she's not gonna... She feels like she has to mature a little bit. She has to get a little older than what she was used to acting like. Because she's still 16. She's still a kid. But she's starting to feel the weight of the world on her shoulders just a little bit more.
At the start of this second adventure, Hannah set herself up as the one who didn't know what was going on and, was the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed one here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that maybe it's turned out that it was Val who was bright-eyed and just didn't, hadn't hit home with just everything and how things work, and could be, how terrible things could be.
Absolutely. She was still living in her Candyland fantasy. Now that Candyland is a little bit darker.
Hannah and Avery, your characters are gone or elsewhere, but we learned things about them, so we can get experience points for that.
Yep. We learned, I guess, that Avery... I'm trying to remember what we learned for Avery. Avery was pretty short and simple.
Well, we learned that Avery may have doubted herself as a leader, but when push came to shove, she's still a hero. She did so much to try and save Hannah.
Avery did not have to go down there. Only Hannah had to.
And for Hannah, we found out an awful lot about her anxiety. It comes back, and when it comes back in a big whoosh, it doesn't come back nicely.
And we also know that she really did know gun safety and how to make things flammable.
Yes.
At least you made it to another dimension with your anxiety. It would have been a problem if it was just wandering around without you.
Oh, that's true. It probably would have turned into, what are they called? Like not poltergeist, the
call it an anxiety
some sort of specter anyways.
Yeah.
Oh no, your anxiety specter.
But it's there with you, and you have your gun, I imagine.
That's true. With no bullets.
With no bullets.
Since Martin only gave you one.
Don't worry, there's no death there. The gun would have been useless anyways.
So it sounds like we answered all of the questions. Which maybe you ought to get extras. I don't know, but you certainly get 2 experience points.
For those of us that survived.
Well, Hannah leveled up.
She leveled up in her undeath.
You can mark that on there. Yeah, if we ever encounter Hannah again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there could, but maybe Val won't open the portal. Maybe some other foolhardy human will.
Lurker, take 2.
The return of Hannah.
The return of Hannah.
All right.
I love her to come back as like a warped being. That would be great.
Like, she has all this time now to learn and hone her psychic abilities, and so
Hannah's
she just
the
comes...
BBEG at the end. You left me!
That sounds
Now
great.
you will suffer!
Well, thank you all for listening. That concludes our mystery, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Goodbye! Thanks for listening.
Sad eyes!
So much tears.
Okay.
Documentation review on case number 57213, the Lake Luskogee incident. For internal use only. Though 1 or 2 people disappeared before our service team arrived, afterwards, there were at least 3 documented deaths, countless citizen endangerments, multiple witnesses, and a magic portal generated not by the entity, but by PARCs' own agents, utilizing local citizens as participants. In the end, the entity colloquially referred to as the Lurker was not captured by PARC services, though earlier reports are that it was sent to the aforementioned magic portal, so the community is in no further danger. However, the action cost the life of veteran servicewoman Avery O'Grady, and the location of new hire Hannah Mae Sullivan is unconfirmed. The origin of the Lurker is believed to be a series of rituals undertaken by members of the Lake Luskogee Anglers Club. Interviews with the surviving members of said organization describe it as a desperate attempt to bring more fish to the struggling lake town. Officer's recommendation: Servicewoman Val for leadership training. Val displayed strong leadership and took command of the Luskogee citizens, as well as performing the public service announcement, which prevented many hostile entity interactions. With the retirement of 7 and the death of Avery, we need new personnel to lead teams. Supplemental note: when asked about Hannah's disappearance, the entity Martin Gross shrugged and mentioned that few things last forever. PARCs utilized Martin while 7 led the team as his handler, but with 7's retirement and his new handler Avery's death, in an incident which Martin seems to have been the direct cause of, I do not believe that Martin can any longer be considered a benign entity or an asset to PARCs teams. quick. Would you rather be found or be off in the hellscape?
So,
Do you choose death or hell?
well, if I choose hell, then at least Hannah's not by herself.
That's true.
But if
But-
you choose death, then there's the chance for a nice afterlife.
I know, right? I'm leaning more towards death, even though this would make it my first character death
Yeah.
in 5 years of playing D&D.
All right, go,
This would be
Ander.
the first
Haha.
time.
Killed somebody. Okay.